The Belgian GP has been overshadowed by one very unusual phenomenon making its return to the F1 world, porpoising, and it seems like Mercedes are about to enter a period of struggle yet again after they were confident that the eradication of aerodynamic oscillations was finally gone with the array of upgrades introduced in 2022. With not many other teams reporting problems with porpoising, Mercedes' development path has taken a massive hit, and at this point it seems like the team is stuck at a crossroads as to which way they should take moving forward, and Hamilton isn't liking what he's seeing from his team in the moments when he needs to continue the collaboration with Mercedes. Is this issue strong enough to see Hamilton leave the team? And more importantly, is porpoising back for Mercedes on the low downforce tracks? Porpoising is a phenomenon that we got to meet for the first time in 2022, and it's caused by the inappropriate aerodynamic efficiency of the car. More precisely, the car gains and then loses a massive amount of downforce from its floor, which causes it to aggressively bounce on the long main straights, such as the Kemmel Straight in Spa. This is where the W14 has reported some issues, and according to Hamilton, they're here to stay for a long time. And Mercedes needs to ask themselves a real question regarding the path of the W14. A couple of weeks ago, Wolff claimed the W14 to be Diva 2.0 and just a continuation of a troublesome version that the team introduced last year. But with an array of upgrades that came into Monaco, which included a revised design and a brand new philosophy of the car seemed to have moved in the right direction. But paradoxically enough, Mercedes were not fighting the porpoising issue in 2023. They were aiming towards reducing the drag and increasing the rear downforce, and if they had too much rear downforce in 2022, the 2023 Challenger would suffer from too strong a front end and no rear downforce at all. All of this points in one direction. Mercedes may struggle not just in the remainder of the season, but also in the upcoming campaigns as well, because we're now in a very technically strict and regulated era that does not give the teams as much freedom as they would like in order to turn the car into the beast they would want it to be. Therefore, the dissatisfaction with Hamilton is more than clear, especially after he publicly expressed that the team should pursue more performance in 2023 and not focus on 2024, something that Red Bull has done, a statement with which Wolff doesn't agree. When talking about the Spa GP, one in which Hamilton struggled to defend against Verstappen, which was quite obvious to expect, but did manage to keep fourth place and get the fastest lap at the end of the race, his disappointment with the old problems could have been heard through the pain in his voice as he went on to elaborate. I think it was kind of a non-eventful race. There wasn't much really going on. I wasn't able to keep up with the cars ahead of me. I struggled at the beginning. Rear end is our biggest issue. Then we had big bouncing this weekend, so we are back to the bouncing like we had last year. So at the end, I was keeping the Ferrari within a few seconds, but I couldn't get any closer to that battle. Then to get the fastest lap at the end, it was nice to have the gap to the car behind. It was decent, but it was gusty today and it was very difficult out there and difficult to keep it on track. If there is one word which we can elaborate on the Mercedes 2023 season so far, that would be inconsistency. The Silver Arrows started the season by saying that Red Bull would go on to win every race this weekend, to saying that they would be fighting for wins much sooner than we think, all the way back to having a car that they have no idea what's wrong with. All of the technical reshuffle didn't seem to be working wonders for the Silver Arrows, and what's even more concerning is the fact that Hamilton doesn't have as much trust as he did at the beginning of the season that he'd be driving a championship-winning car anytime soon. His rant against the porpoising and the fact that they're struggling with an issue that everybody has checked off as a fixed one on their to-do list continued further, as he went on to say, Mercedes don't know what caused the bouncing, and to me it is a concern, but we will work through the data this week and try to figure out what we do before the next race. But I don't really have much more answers for you. I know what I want and I'm praying for it. I am just waiting for the day that we get it. All of this time, we've been hearing Hamilton pray that Mercedes unlock more pace from the W14, but as all things stand, this might be a very difficult mission for the Silver Arrows, especially in a period in which we can't see the synergy in Mercedes being aligned in one. Apart from Hamilton, who's stressed multiple times that the development path of the W14 should continue as it is, Wolff thinks that sooner rather than later, the team would be forced to drop everything about 2023 and focus on 2024. 2024. But why would this be a bad idea for Mercedes? For starters, the 2023 season serves as a foundation for the upcoming campaign as well, and this is one of the main reasons that McLaren didn't want to give up on their car at the beginning of the season and will continue to introduce upgrades until the season is finished. So if the team is lacking in performance in 2023 and decides to develop the car for 2024, they would have an unsolidified foundation, one that might not be the perfect one to build a car upon, especially in a very technical restricted era. But according to Wolff, even though the porpoising is back and even though the 2023 season seems like a bust so far for Mercedes, a team that will likely secure the second spot in the Constructors' Championship if nothing specifically gets in their way from Aston Martin, Ferrari or McLaren, the Silver Arrows are on the right track to have a proper race-winning car in the next season. It's a bit disappointing that the Austrian has pointed to the next season as the first chance in which Mercedes will get competitive, and even then it's not a guarantee to us because we don't have any new regulations we can bet upon. But as of now, the reality stands as it is. Mercedes are in a place that they never could have imagined a couple of years ago. When talking about this, Wolff said, "The main limiting factor was the bouncing. The car was just bouncing literally on every straight. Even Blanchimont was a corner where Lewis had to lift, and it is an easy flat normally. So you're bouncing on the straight, you overheat the tyres under braking, and that is a vicious circle. It was the main limiting factor for this weekend. I think the floor could have been the main reason why we've been bouncing, but we're going to see it in the data, and maybe there's something that we need to find because I still believe the direction that we're going now is the right one." Apart from Hamilton, Russell has also complained of massive bouncing with his car, and when you add all things up, we are heading towards one conclusion: trouble in paradise. Mercedes were very confident that the direction they have taken is the right one and that it will keep Hamilton at bay with the Silver Arrows, but right now the seven-time world champion is yet to sign a new contract with the team, with which he won 6 championships. While there is no other place which Hamilton would feel more at home and at peace with himself, trouble like this definitely has the potential to shift the narrative in further negotiation talks to a much more negative environment. Again, it's almost a guarantee that Hamilton would sign the new contract, but situations like this are making him ask for demands that the team might not be ready to fulfill right now. And if they're not listening to him for the direction they are to take in 2023 and 2024 as well, I reckon Hamilton would take that as an offence after history has shown that he was mostly right when it comes to what the car needs in order to perform superbly. Be that as it may, we might have one of the most interesting periods ahead of us, and if porpoising has made a surprising return in Mercedes' garage, I guess there's nothing much we can say other than God be with you, Wolff. With all this in mind, what do you think about the future of Hamilton and Mercedes and the porpoising comeback? Let us know in the comments below.